Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another awesome, wonderful filmmaker interview for the 23rd Annual Garden State Film Festival. From March 27th through March 30th, you can enjoy over 200 incredible films. Truly, these films are really incredible. These films will be shown throughout 9 different venues in Asbury Park and Cranford, New Jersey. It's truly just a really great Jersey experience. And I'm your host, Paige Ryans, and today I am joined with Trey Corpy with his short film, CISNEROS. Trey, how are you doing today? Welcome.
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me here.
Doing
I'm
good.
super excited. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm a little
we're
nervous,
happy
I'll
to
be
have you.
honest, but it's
That's okay.
super
Don't
cool
worry.
opportunity.
It's a great opportunity. I know you mentioned you're like kind of like to be low key behind the scenes kind of, but it's your time to shine today. So
Awesome. I'm ready.
yes, absolutely. So why don't we just start with you introducing, yourself and just your role with the film?
Okay. So I'm Tristan. I am I don't know if there's a specific term, but I like to make documentaries.
Mhm.
As you can see, uh,
Yeah.
I go to East Brunswick Magnet School. I attend the digital film program run by instructor Lewis Libbets.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's a super cool program. I've instantly fell in love with it, and it's been a heck of a journey ever since freshman year. So,
Sure. I can imagine. I can imagine. So, tell us a little bit about Cisneros.
okay. So Cisneros was a documentary that I presented as my concept for sophomore year. So
Mhm.
each year we usually make 1 to 2 films, and at that point I was finally coming into my documentary side. Like I was starting to get more comfortable with it. So
Mhm.
I wanted to challenge myself and make something that was kind of interesting and not like, just like sit down, set up the camera, a regular interview. Like I wanted to really try and see what could be like more appealing and not I don't want to use the word normal, but what's the word I'm thinking of?
Different.
Like kind of different, like out
Yeah.
of the box. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually I train martial arts myself as well.
Mhm.
So as I was thinking of what I wanted to do, I came up with the idea of possibly interviewing a good friend of mine, Ishmael Cisneros. He is an up and coming fighter. He really wants to pursue a career in professional fighting. So and at that point, he had been gaining a lot of traction and success with smaller tournaments, and he also started gaining some championships under his belt.
Mhm.
So I thought it would be a perfect time to not only kind of do some advertisement for him, but like to kind of show some love to like my friends, the gym I go to,
For
and it would
sure.
also work well in my favor for a film.
Mhm.
So yeah, it
Everyone
was
wins.
exactly it was a win-win situation. It was a definitely super cool experience. I did work a lot by myself, but I was accompanied by my good friend Josias Ortiz. He was kind of like my DP, you could say. He did
Mhm.
compose the music in the documentary, so shout outs to him. Thank
Shout
you
out.
to him for helping out. And yeah, I mean, like I said before, it was an awesome experience for me. It definitely got me more comfortable with the documentary style, and um, it definitely brought me a level up in my
Mhm.
journey to become a better filmmaker.
Good for you. Yeah, that's awesome. And I know you had mentioned like documentaries, like your forte, kind of. So how did you kind of get into or recognize that that's kind of what you really enjoy doing, focusing on?
So for me, it was during freshman year. I was just trying to figure out what kind of spoke to me, what I enjoyed making, and I did try out narrative filmmaking, and I do think it was a good attempt. Mind you, I was a freshman. It was my first time like kind of dipping my toes into the waters of
Hmm.
filmmaking.
Hmm.
And I don't know. It's always funny how we look back on our like early works in this industry, and we're kind of like, oh, don't show anybody, like stuff like that. We kind of want to keep it hidden.
Yeah.
But it was actually I am very grateful for that experience because even though it might not be the greatest film ever, right? It still showed me um what I needed to do, and it brought me to where I am today. So after freshman year, just something kind of clicked, and I started making more documentary esque, shorter like little things like for projects and stuff. And at that time, I was trying to find what really inspired me the most,
Hmm.
and it for me like things like music videos and documentaries is what I aspire to make
Hmm.
when I eventually leave high school and or college.
Mhm.
So I was like, I want to start doing those things. I have to see, if I can do it.
Yeah.
And for me, it was instant, like kind of like similar to my friend Josiah's, how for him, narrative filmmaking, it's just like he knows he can do that and that's his
Mhm.
thing. The same experience happened to me. Like as soon as I started my first documentary, it was just like instant, like love at first sight kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I do definitely think I'm a lot better at it than I am when it comes to like narrative filmmaking or any other type of film
Mhm.
genre.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's nice to when you figure out and find like that's what you really like that's your skill. That's what you're skilled at
Mhm,
most. And so I think documentary is great because it allows you to really connect and it's like real life type too.
mhm.
So you have the ability to showcase that. So um I think that's great. Do you have like a favorite part of this process? Because I know you said you're involved kind of with martial arts, right? Okay.
I would say, well, for the film specifically for Cisneros, my favorite part was definitely kind of similar to how I said before, like the win-win aspect of it, like how it
Yeah.
was just a awesome opportunity to not only showcase my friend Ish and then just get a film out for me as well. But I do think my favorite part of the actual production was definitely shooting all the B-roll because for me, even though I don't like narrative filmmaking, I am uh, really into cinematography. Like I
Mhm.
love just shooting like little videos, whether I'm like out walking in the park or something like that. Like I always have my camera on me. So it's, that's my thing. Like even though I do documentaries, I really do love cinematography. So
Mhm.
for me, the B-roll is that's like the canvas for that. So
Yeah.
like I had a bunch of fun doing that. I definitely shot for at least a month. So I had even though
Wow.
the documentary is only about like 4 minutes, I do
Mhm.
have a lot of hours of B-roll that were just completely unused. But it was definitely, like I said, I had a great time shooting all of that B-roll. It was just, trying to see how I could get a cool shot of maybe him in the ring or, him fighting. So even though it was a challenge, because that was another part that I really liked about it too.
Mhm.
One of the most challenging parts of making this film was actually recording the fight for the end of the film because I wasn't allowed to really, it's not like I could be in the ring to get like
Yeah.
really close up shots.
Yeah.
I did have to be outside of the
On the
ring.
side, yeah.
Yeah, so it did kind of, it was like kind of I didn't fully like it because we had to see the ropes and everything.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I did my best and I got what I, was able
Right.
to. And I still think it came out great.
Absolutely.
So it's just
Mhm.
for me, it's always the experience when it comes to
Mhm.
these kinds of things. I'm always learning something new, whether I make a mistake or I don't. There's no like failure if you take something away from it. You
There
know,
you go.
so
There you go. Listen, I mean, with the quotes today, everyone just has these great quotes. I haven't run this back so I can write that one down too. But no, that's awesome, and I think that it's great, and it's always just kind of like a process of constantly just like learning and just what do you want to take to like your next project and everything like that. So like I know you said
exactly.
you like cinematography and everything like that. What's kind of your do you have any like next plans for your next project? Like what's that kind of looking like for you?
This is an awesome question. So currently I'm still on the path of documentary.
Okay.
So I am making um another documentary for my film this year. It is actually
Mhm.
about me. And it's about
Yay!
so I am in it. Yeah, like I
Yay!
kind of,
You are.
I'm in front of the camera this time.
Nice.
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of push myself to get out of my comfort zone and try
Mhm.
something new. So it was like it kind of just it came to me like, oh, what if I made a documentary about myself and
Mhm.
like what got me to filmmaking? Because ever since I was little, I've always been interested in all forms of art, whether it was drawing, painting, music. So for me, I've always struggled growing up figuring out not like where I fit in, but like what I
Mhm.
wanted to not only pursue as a career or like just really what I love the most.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I discovered filmmaking that everything just kind of meshed together because
Yeah.
with film there's music, with film there's art, like animation and everything like that. So for me, filmmaking, the reason why I love it so much is because I can mix all of my talents and interests and like everything gets its moment to shine.
Yeah.
So I figured I could make a documentary about how growing up I always liked different things and how it all led to filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what it's about. I don't want to say too much about it because,
Ooh, don't want to get too much away.
hopefully same time next year we'll be talking about it. You
Oh
never
yeah,
know.
for sure. We'll be right in this.
But yeah. But yeah,
Nice.
it's been an awesome experience working on it. Again, to talk about the cinematography, it's given me another opportunity to find more ways to use cinematography because for me, I want all my documentaries to be super interesting. I don't, like I said before earlier in the interview, I don't want it to just be set up the camera and just ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I did really play around with my cinematography this year. I will say one thing. So since the kind of concept of the film is that it's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be like three different versions of me. So like one is really interested in art, so like drawing, one's interested in guitar, and then the other is the filmmaking. So
Nice.
it's supposed to be like they're almost three different people, but it is
Yeah.
just me the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I did play around with a lot of shots where, you can see all three of us at once, stuff like that. And then
Nice.
again, with the B-roll aspect, I got another opportunity to just have that creative aspect just really shine through. So I'm really excited for it to be finished soon and for everyone to see it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't wait. So
That's awesome. That is
thank you.
awesome. No, listen, that's really awesome and just so excited to hear and even to just see your passion and your excitement for it too. So
Thank you.
that's yeah, no, we're rooting for you here. So
Thank you.
and
I appreciate that.
yes, you're welcome. And we're looking forward to that submission. We'll be same time next year, 2026. We'll be looking
Definitely,
forward to
definitely.
it.
You can
We're
count
actually
on
going
it.
to open like a few months. So but yeah, we're rooting for you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Seriously. You're welcome. You're welcome. Were you do you have any like documentaries that you like any favorite documentaries that you
I definitely do. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said before, growing up, I know it's kind of funny because usually, kids don't really like documentaries. Like,
Mhm.
because when I was younger, my mom would always encourage me to watch documentaries because it's still you can watch TV, right, and then
Mhm.
still learn something. It's and that's another thing that I really like about documentaries too. It's just like the capturing of a moment and being able to inform people about something, like
Yep.
whatever it's about.
Absolutely.
So originally, I wasn't a big fan of documentaries, right? I had to kind of grow into it because like, no, I just want to watch, whatever TV show I was
Yeah.
watching at the
You
time,
want the story like the narrative element of
Yeah.
it.
But definitely, I have to give credit to my mom for pushing
Mhm.
me and my interest in documentaries because if it wasn't for her, I probably would never have picked a documentary up.
Yeah.
But like I said, growing up, I started to watch them more and more and just finally found interest in them and seeing the purpose of them. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, wow, like it would be cool to make something like that myself. But I would say one documentary in particular that really inspires me is a short documentary about one of my favorite bands or music artists. Their name is Los Retros. So there's this like little documentary. It's just kind of showing. It's like a little story about how the band came to be and where they're at now.
Mhm.
And for me, the reason why I love it so much is because how I said I want my documentaries to be like more artistic with the cinematography
Mhm.
and not just like not to keep saying it, but not just like a regular set
Yeah.
up the camera interview.
Mhm.
And that's what they did with that documentary. So that was actually a documentary that really did inspire me, not only with Cisneros, like how the layout of Cisneros was,
Yeah.
but specifically for this new film that I'm working on. Like I wanted to really make something similar that like might have the same vibe or leave the same mark. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. That's incredible. That's truly incredible.
Thank you.
Seriously. Well, listen, we're going to be rooting for you. We already
Thank you
are
so
rooting
much.
for you.
Thank
And
you.
how does it feel to be accepted to the Garden State Film Festival? And talk a little bit about just kind of, you submitting and wanting to what prompted you to submit to the Garden State Film Festival.
Well, our program, we submit to over 20 film festivals all around the tri-state area. Garden State Film Festival obviously being one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, you know, I don't want to say like a challenge, but a lot of us do get into this festival. So it's
Mhm.
almost like seeing like, oh, can we get in? Like it's almost like a goal, like setting a
Yeah.
goal for all of us. So when I heard that I got in, because I wanted to make sure the film was done in time for a
Mhm.
submission.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that last year. It just documentaries do take a lot longer to work on than you
Yeah.
would think
Yeah.
or imagine. So I wasn't quite able to make the deadline last year, but there's always next year, So again, like I said before, as long as more opportunities come. So when I heard that Cisneros made it, after a while of it had already been a couple months since I finished production for it, it was
Mhm.
just kind of like, oh, like that's awesome, and I was
Yeah.
just super excited because this is the third festival that I've made it into. And for it to be Garden State is just super amazing. And I'm like really grateful for it. I'm excited to go to the screening. And yeah, I can't wait. And the gala as well. It's going to be super fun. I
Yeah.
already know.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's a part of the festival experience. So
Yeah.
great. Well, listen, we're happy for you. We're so happy to have your film
Thank
a
you.
part of this festival. We're looking forward to some more supporting you for your future films, the documentary in making. Like I said, be on the lookout for the submissions for
Thank you.
2026.
I appreciate that. That
You're
makes
welcome.
all the hard work worth it to hear all those
Absolutely,
kind words. So thank you.
absolutely, absolutely. You should be proud too. You should be very, very proud
Thank
of
you.
yourself. So you could see CISNEROS on Saturday, March 29th at the Asbury Lanes Block 3 between 9:30 a.m. and 11:45 a.m. And again, 23rd Annual Garden State Film Festival from March 27th through March 30th. You can experience all of these incredible films as well as that gala, as Trey mentioned. And you can get your tickets at gsff.org/tickets. It's one for the ages, truly. So once again, Trey, congrats, and
Thank
we'll
you.
see you at the festival. You'll be there in person, right?
Yep, definitely. Well, I
Alrighty.
cannot miss this.
Definitely can't. Definitely can't. Well, we look forward to seeing you in person, and congrats again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care and have a great day, okay?
You too.